Let's go, Eagles. I don't know about you, but I'm living every single game of this season with pure excitement. Week after week, the energy keeps building, and it's impossible not to feel just how far this team can go. Our squad is well-structured, ready to soar high, and the recent moves only prove that the Eagles are getting even stronger. Our GM has been making big-time deals that have everyone talking behind the scenes, and it feels like there's still a lot more to come as the season unfolds. I'll share everything I've been hearing with you, but before we dive into the details, make sure you've already smashed that like button. The passion of this fan base is always incredible, and I want to see you commenting, "Go Birds!" My heart bleeds green and white. Let's fly higher. Now let's get straight to the news. The Philadelphia Eagles have pulled off another move, and it's one that has already stirred up plenty of conversation among the fan base. Wide receiver John Metchie is officially on his way to Philadelphia, and the deal says a lot about how this front office operates. The trade sent Harrison Bryant, who wasn't expected to make the roster, along with a 2026 fifth-round pick to the Houston Texans in exchange for Metchie and a 2026 sixth-rounder. On paper, it might look like just another depth move, but when you break it down, this could turn out to be much bigger than people initially think. First, this trade is consistent with Howie Roseman's reputation. Year after year, especially in August, he makes moves that surprise the league. Just look at his recent track record. Jacorian Bennett earlier this month, Jahan Dotson last year, Albert Okwuegbunam before that, and even C.J. Gardner-Johnson right before the 2022 season. These are not isolated incidents. Roseman thrives on taking advantage of opportunities that improve the roster either immediately or down the line. And now, Metchie joins that list. The obvious question is why? Why trade for another wide receiver when the position is already one of the strengths of this roster? The answer isn't so simple. For one, the Eagles are looking ahead. Dotson is in a contract year, and Philadelphia is always calculating long-term value. Metchie, who is still just 24, could end up being a controllable piece for multiple seasons due to his rookie contract situation. That alone makes this move intriguing. Then there's A.J. Brown. He hasn't practiced in over 2 weeks with that hamstring issue, and even though reports suggest there isn't major concern, the Eagles are taking no risks. Brown's injury history with hamstrings is real, and the front office knows that this offense cannot afford to lose him long-term. Metchie gives them insurance, but not in the sense of just another body. He brings legitimate talent. Let's not forget that Metchie was the 44th overall pick in the 2022 draft, one of the cleanest route runners to come out of that class. And he's already got chemistry with Jalen Hurts and DeVonta Smith from their Alabama days. That familiarity is a major advantage when you're trying to integrate a new piece quickly. And while his NFL career has been slowed, he missed his entire rookie year after being diagnosed with leukemia and then found himself buried on the Texans' depth chart. His skill set has never been in doubt. Put on the tape, and you'll see him leaving defensive backs spinning. He's got polish, quickness, and the ability to create separation that makes quarterbacks look good. From a big-picture standpoint, Roseman's philosophy has clearly shifted in recent years. There was a time when he tried too hard to outthink the draft, like passing on Justin Jefferson for Jalen Reagor. He admitted on Bussin' with the Boys that he learned from those mistakes. The new approach? Stack the roster with players from powerhouse programs who have already thrived under enormous pressure. Alabama, Georgia, you name it. He wants proven winners, and now the Eagles have a
remarkable 8 players who finished their careers at Alabama, not even counting Hurts and Keelan Robinson who transferred elsewhere. That's not a coincidence. These players are battle-tested, accustomed to the spotlight, and built to handle the scrutiny of Philadelphia. This is also about competition. Training camp has shown that guys like Anaya Smith, Johnny Wilson, and Darius Cooper are flashing potential, but are they really better than John Metchie? The answer right now is no. Metchie brings more upside and experience. He makes the wide receiver room deeper, and in the NFL, depth is everything. One injury can change everything overnight, and Roseman knows it. So now the speculation begins. Is this move part of something bigger? Could Roseman flip Jahan Dotson for value and then use those assets to address the real concern, cornerback? Or maybe even make a shocking swing for a pass rusher like Trey Hendrickson, who, according to reports, could be available if the price is right? That's the type of bold thinking Roseman is known for, and the timing of this deal only adds fuel to the fire. But circling back to Metchie, this feels like one of those classic Eagles moves that looks minor now but could become a huge storyline down the road. If he stays healthy, if he builds that chemistry with Hurts, if he reclaims the form that made him such a highly regarded prospect, this could go down as a steal. And with A.J. Brown sidelined, the timing couldn't be better for Philadelphia to see what they really have in him. What do you think about this move, Eagles fans? Do you believe John Metchie can carve out a role here and make a real impact? Or do you see this as just another depth trade that won't move the needle? The more you examine this trade, the more you realize how layered it really is. On the surface, the Eagles brought in another wideout, but the ripple effects across the roster could be significant. Start with the immediate pressure it puts on players fighting for those final wide receiver spots. Darius Cooper has turned heads, even running with the ones at practice and catching passes from Jalen Hurts, which all but guarantees he won't be cut when rosters shrink to 53. But what about Anaya Smith and Johnny Wilson? Both had encouraging camps, but with Metchie now in the mix, somebody's place is in jeopardy. Will the Eagles keep 7 receivers? If not, someone is going to be left out, and Metchie's arrival makes that decision even tougher. This also opens the door for Howie Roseman to play the long game. Dotson's future with the team has been in question ever since rumors started swirling about his contract situation. With Metchie on board, Philadelphia has flexibility. They can test Metchie's value this season and, if he develops as expected, possibly use him as leverage in negotiations or as a replacement altogether. And remember, Metchie is under team control beyond this year thanks to that rookie contract nuance. That's the type of roster construction Roseman loves, talent and value combined. Then there's the A.J. Brown factor. Everyone knows he's the centerpiece of this passing attack along with DeVonta Smith, but the team can't afford to be reckless with his hamstring. Hamstring issues are tricky, they linger, they flare back up, and Brown has a history with them. That's why he hasn't practiced in more than 17 days. The Eagles need him healthy for the long run, especially with the Cowboys looming in the opener. By adding Metchie, they buy themselves insurance without having to lean too heavily on inexperienced options. It's not about replacing Brown, it's about buying time and protecting one of the team's most valuable assets. Zooming out, this also highlights a larger theme with Roseman's philosophy. He doesn't wait for problems to become emergencies. He anticipates. Whether it's stockpiling picks, targeting players from powerhouse schools, or adding depth at premium positions, he's always trying to be a step ahead. And that foresight has led the Eagles to 2 Super Bowl appearances in recent years. Metchie might not transform the offense overnight, but he represents foresight in action. And while the trade market is still buzzing, there's a real possibility this is just the beginning. Jordan Schultz reported that an AFC general manager doesn't believe the Eagles are done making moves, and that makes perfect sense. If the biggest weakness right now is at cornerback, then why not swing another deal? Could Philadelphia package Dotson and some draft capital to pursue someone like Denzel Ward from Cleveland? Or, in typical Roseman fashion, could he shock the league by addressing the pass rush instead, especially with Trey Hendrickson reportedly available? Remember,